Welcome back to the Go Draft. I'm Andy Guerdat. Sorry I've been away for a little bit, away for the holidays, and also getting over a lingering illness, like many of us are this time of year. Anyway, we're trying to improve your screenwriting to the next level. And today I want to talk about melodrama versus drama. Let's start here. Melodrama, by my definition, occurs when the emotions of the characters on the screen exceed the emotions of the audience watching. In other words, when the characters are feeling more than the audience does, it becomes melodrama, as compared to drama. Here's an example of a melodramatic scene.
Look at me. I love you more than I've ever loved any woman. And I've waited longer for you than I've ever waited for any woman.
Let me alone.
Here's a soldier of the South who loves you, Scarlett. Wants to feel your arms around him. Wants to carry the memory of your kisses into battle with him. Never mind about loving me. You're a woman sending a soldier to his death with a beautiful memory. Scarlett, kiss me. Kiss me once.
Everybody was right. You aren't a gentleman.
A minor point at such a moment. Here. If anyone lays a hand on that nag, shoot him. But don't make a mistake and shoot the nag.
Oh, go on. I want you to go. I hope a cannonball lands slap on you. I hope you're blown into a million pieces.
Never mind the rest. I follow your general idea. And when I'm dead on the altar of my country, I hope your conscience hurt you. Goodbye, Scarlett.
Okay, now that's melodramatic. I think we can all agree. Only in part because the acting, especially from Vivien Leigh, seems way more emotional than we feel, most of us, anyway. But also the entire approach of the director and the writers to the scene, and the producer, David Selznick, who is known for being very melodramatic. Even the sky is red. I mean, it's a bit absurd. It doesn't mean you can't like Gone with the Wind. I mean, I don't like Gone with the Wind, partly because it's grotesquely racist, but also I just don't particularly like the film. There are moments in it that are affecting, but mostly I don't like it, but it doesn't mean you can't like it. Many people do. Millions of people have loved this film over the years. It is the quintessence of a melodrama. But I want you to compare that, what we just watched, to a drama. That is to say, something where the emotions of the characters are not greater than the emotions of the audience, even though the emotions of the characters are very powerful. This is a bit of a scene from the movie Marty, which was based on a television play of the same name, both written by Paddy Chayefsky. Watch this little moment from Marty.
So, what are you going to do tonight, Marty?
I don't know, Ma. I'm all knocked out. I may just hang around the house.
Why don't you go to the Stardust Ballroom?
What?
I say, why don't you go to the Stardust Ballroom? It's loaded with tomatoes.
It's loaded with what?
Tomatoes?
Who told you about the Stardust Ballroom, Ma?
Tommy. He says it's a very nice place.
Oh, Thomas. My, it's just a big dance hall. That's all it is. I've been there 100 times. Loaded with tomatoes. Boy, you're funny, Ma.
Marty, I don't want you hanging around the house tonight. I want you to go take a shave and go dance.
Ma, when are you going to give up? You got a bachelor on your hands. I ain't never going to get married.
You're going to get married.
Ma, sooner or later, there comes a point in a man's life when he's got to face some facts. And one fact I got to face is that whatever it is that women like, I ain't got it. I chased after enough girls in my life. I went to enough dances. I got hurt enough. I don't want to get hurt no more. I just called up a girl this afternoon. I got a real brush off, boy. I figured I was past the point of being hurt, but that hurt. Some stupid woman who I didn't even want to call up. She gave me the brush. No, Ma, I don't want to go to Stardust Ballroom because all that ever happened to me there was girls made me feel like I was a bug. I got feelings, you know. I had enough pain. No thanks, Ma.
Marty,
No. I'm gonna stay home tonight and watch the hit parade.
you're gonna die without a son.
So I'll die without a son.
Oh, Marty, put on the blue suit, huh?
Blue suit, gray suit. I'm just a fat little man, a fat, ugly man.
You're not ugly.
I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly.
Marty.
Ma, leave me alone!
Now, the effects of that truth that was expressed by the character, that I'm ugly, I'm short, fat, I'm a short, fat, ugly little man, no one's ever going to love me. That emotion was so powerful and so truthful that when the television play premiered, remember this was in the days of live television where there was no videotape, there were no reruns, you either saw it or you missed it. And it was so powerful that people the next day on the street were affected by it and talking to each other. My God, did you see that show, Marty? I'll never forget it. It was played by Ernest Borgnine in the film, played by Rod Steiger in the television play. It was like a lightning bolt that went through society. People bought televisions, and I think it was around 1953, maybe. I'm not sure when the television play was produced and aired, but in the early 50s, people went out and bought televisions because they didn't want to miss another show like that, another story like that. And it was because everybody at some point in their life, even the most beautiful women, the most handsome men, everybody's looked in the mirror at some point and thought to themselves, my God, I'm so ugly. How can anybody ever love me? It was the truth of it was overwhelming to audiences. Audiences have two reasons for going to the movies or watching television or going to the theater or seeing dramatic presentations. Two potential reasons. One is the desire to see the truth about life expressed for them so that they feel something that has been lying dormant within them, something truthful. But the other is the desire to see something that is not true, that is deliberately not true. That's to say, drama on the first hand, melodrama on the other hand. Now, those aren't, the drama versus melodrama are awkward terms to use because they have other meanings as well. Drama as opposed to comedy, for example. That's not what we're talking about here. Or melodrama is also a genre of film, or soap operas, that sort of thing. We're not talking about the genre of melodrama here. So I came up with a different terminology just because I couldn't find anything that accurately expressed what I wanted it to. So I reverted to Latin, which is a bit pretentious, I suppose, but at least it does the job, it works. And the terms I came up with were verum per drama, which is to say truth through drama, verum meaning truth, as opposed to votum per drama, which is wishing through drama. That's what votum means. Verum per drama, truth through drama, is the storyteller's attempt to show life the way it is. Votum per drama, that is to say, wishing through drama, is the storyteller's attempt to show life the way we wish it were. Oh, before I go any further, I should explain the hat. I usually been wearing Hawaiian shirts and like regular ball caps, and so this was a lovely Christmas present, a Hawaiian hat to go with a non-Hawaiian shirt. Anyway, we're talking about verum per drama as opposed to votum per drama. Verum per drama, if that's what you are going to try to write, that is to say, you're going to search for the truth and express it dramatically, then what you should probably do is think of yourself this way. You're like an explorer who's going up into the mountains, some mountain range that no one's ever explored before, and you come upon an abyss, a crevasse that goes sheer rock face going down into darkness. No one's ever been down there, and nobody knows what's down there. And instead of turning around and going back, You get out your belaying rope or whatever they call it and a piton, and you hammer the piton into the rock and you tie off the rope and you start to descend. You start to rappel down into the darkness to find out what's down there, whatever it is. And you're going to see it, you're going to look at it, you're going to listen to it, and you're going to climb back up and report back to the rest of us what you saw, assuming you live. That's what it's like. It's an emotion. You're an emotional explorer going into the darkest, scariest, bleakest places of human existence in order to find the truth, whatever that is, and report back to us. It's what Shakespeare did in his tragedies. In King Lear, he reduces Lear from being a powerful, wealthy, beloved king, and by the end of the play, he's lost his kingdom, he's lost his followers, he's lost his prestige, he's lost his castle, he's lost his daughter's love, he's lost everything. He's wandering around on the moors, virtually naked, with no one except his fool beside him. And just when it looks like he can't make it any worse for King Lear, Shakespeare goes even down even deeper into a darker place, and he has King Lear go mad, and then he loses his beloved daughter. His one daughter who still loves him dies. He makes it unbearable for Lear, and then reports back. And when he does, it's with lines like, "As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport. And when we are born, we cry that we are come to this great stage of fools." In Macbeth, he has Macbeth say, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." That's bleak. That's tough. That's uncompromising. That's Shakespeare looking truth in the face and reporting back what he sees. And sometimes at the end of it, there's a glimmer of hope, or not always just horrible things we see, but you have to be willing to look at the horror in order to see the beauty, in order for that beauty to be earned. When Joseph Conrad wrote The Heart of Darkness, which then was used as the basis for the movie Apocalypse Now, Conrad had his character Kurtz report what he saw in The Heart of Darkness, and John Milius, the screenwriter, used the same line for the end of the film. And it was this: when he looked into the heart of darkness, this is what Kurtz saw. The horror. Woody Allen has done both kinds of films. When he was doing Verum per drama, when he was searching for the truth, in one of his great films, Crimes and Misdemeanors, and I've shown you clips from it before. Here's the very end of Crimes and Misdemeanors. After a married doctor has had an affair with a woman who won't go away, and he can't buy her off or get her to leave him alone, and so he has her killed, and he gets away with it. And his life goes back to normal, and he's living just fine. And here's the end of the film.
I mean, if you want a happy ending, you should go see a Hollywood movie.
Come on, darling. Let's think about going home, huh?
Nice talking to you. Good luck to you. Miriam, we're going to make a wedding like this with Sharon. And I can't wait. She'll be radiant.
You're looking very handsome tonight.
And you look beautiful.
We are all faced throughout our lives with agonizing decisions, moral choices. Some are on a grand scale, most of these choices are on lesser points. But we define ourselves by the choices we have made. We are, in fact, the sum total of our choices. Events unfold so unpredictably, so unfairly. Human happiness does not seem to have been included in the design of creation. It is only we, with our capacity to love, that give meaning to the indifferent universe. And yet, most human beings seem to have the ability to keep trying and even to find joy from simple things like their family, their work, and from the hope that future generations might understand more.
What he's saying is that at the end of what Woody Allen was doing was looking at this fundamental truth, and that is this: bad people don't get punished, and good people don't get rewarded. And it's true. It's not always true, but it's often true. We need no look any farther than the current headlines when I'm recording this to know that bad people don't always get punished. And so he was staring that truth in the face and coming away with the unvarnished truth as he saw it, dramatized for us with a glimmer of hope at the end. It takes some doing. Now, votum per drama, which is, say, melodrama, is the storyteller's attempt to show life the way we wish it were. And so here's an example of a romantic scene, a sex scene, done as votum per drama.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let you come.
You're not so tough after all, are you?
No, I'm weak.
Now, compare that to a romantic scene done as Verum per drama, that is to say, trying to find the truth in a romantic relationship. This is a scene from Remains of the Day. And it's very different from Body Heat. In Body Heat, it's like, yeah, if you ended a date that way, it seems pretty cool for at least some people, and super erotic and sexually charged. But of course, you need to have really good insurance and possibly a really good attorney as well. But now compare that to this scene from Remains of the Day about a stuffy British butler, head butler at a upper-class British mansion, and he has a mild flirtation and attraction to the middle-aged head housekeeper of this mansion, and they've been just a little bit of flirting, and then one day she walks into his private chamber to give him some information, and she sees him reading a book, and this happens.
Are you reading a racy book?
Do you think racy books are to be found on his lordship's shelves?
What do I know? What is it? Let me see it. Let me see your book.
Please leave me alone, Miss Kenton.
Why won't you show me your book?
This is my private time. You're invading it.
Oh, is that so?
Yes,
I'm invading your private time, am I?
yes.
What's in that book? Come on, let me see. Or are you protecting me? Is that what you're doing? Would I be shocked? Would it ruin my character? Let me see it. It's not scandalous at all. It's just a sentimental old love story.
Yes. I read these books, any books, to develop my command and knowledge of the English language. I read to further my education, Miss Kenton. I really must ask you, please, not to disturb the few moments I have to myself.
Okay, now that's the screenwriter Ruth Prauer-Javala forcing herself to confront the truth of those two characters in that situation. That this guy is too stuffy, too uptight to ever allow himself to express his true feelings, and the woman is likewise just too repressed to be able to push it any farther than she already has. That's the truth of those two characters. Would we like them to do what William Hurt and did in Body Heat, and break down all the barriers and carry her away in his arms and say, "Oh, Miss Kenton," or whatever her name was, "I love you so much. Come away with me"? Yeah, we would like that. And in fact, because he doesn't take action at that particular moment, both those characters' lives will be ruined forever, or at least somewhat ruined. Will certainly be changed forever. But that's the truth, and she forced herself to write the truth of the characters. Body Heat was written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan, by the way. Most romantic comedies are examples of votum per drama, wish fulfillment through drama. Barbra Streisand's entire career during its heyday, at any rate, was based on this concept. She was, attractive enough, nice enough body and an odd face, but kind of appealing, and she had a lot of charisma, and she was funny, and she was ballsy, and the fun of the movies that she made was that they would pair her up with the most attractive, desirable male leading men of the era. Robert Redford, Omar Sharif, Ryan O'Neal, James Caan, whoever was the hottest guy at that time, they'd pair her up, and the fun was watching to see if she could win the heart of this hunky guy just through her force of personality. And women especially loved watching her do it. Here's another example of a classic ending of a romantic comedy. This is Sleepless in Seattle, which was written by Nora Ephron, David Ward, and Jeff Arch.
I left her by the telescopes.
It's you.
It's me.
I saw you in the street.
Are you Annie? Yes.
You're Annie?
This must be yours.
I'm Jonah. This is my dad. His name's Sam.
Hi, Jonah. Sam. And who's this?
Howard.
Oh, Howard. Hello, Howard.
We better go.
Now, not one moment of that scene we just watched is truthful. It wouldn't happen that way. No, they wouldn't meet at the top of the Empire State Building after hours, and the woman he's never met before but has fallen in love with would not turn out to look like beautiful Meg Ryan at the peak of her adorableness. And he wouldn't turn out to be young and good-looking Tom Hanks, who's funny and charming. That would not be the truth. But we love it. We love it because it's not the truth, but we wish it were. Now, Richard Curtis, the British writer-director, who specializes in romantic comedies, went over the top with this concept of votum per drama, wish fulfillment, to the point where it became almost absurdist, the joyous absurdity of the ending of Love Actually.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you.
Hello, Daisy. This one's Greta. Hello, Greta.
I'll make you so sure.
Well, here she is. This is Aurelia, this is Julia, this is Peter. Hi. Oh, Mark, hi. I didn't see that. Yeah, I just thought I'd tag along.
Jamie's friends are so good looking. He never tells me this. I think maybe now I have made the wrong choice. Picked the wrong Englishman.
She can't speak English properly. She just doesn't understand.
Oh, God.
Did you get us any presents?
As a matter of fact, I did.
Thanks, Dad.
Are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Good to have you back. Come on.
There's you. Hi. Hello.
Oh, you should have kissed her.
No, that's cool.
Hey, what are you two doing here?
Might get a shag at last.
Naughty.
No, got to go.
Thanks.
The world could show nothing to me. So what
This is Harriet.
Ah, really pleased to meet you.
Hello, Harriet.
I hope you don't mind. I sort of brought my sister to stay. This is Carla. She's real friendly. Hello, you must be Tony. I heard you were gorgeous.
Not you, Royal.
Oh, shut up.
So it was so ridiculously wonderful that everybody found exactly who they loved, and it all worked out just great. That it worked for almost everybody who saw it. But however, it's worth noting out that every romantic comedy does not have to be a melodrama. It does not have to be votum per drama. It could be verum. And here's an example. This is the last scene from Annie Hall, which is a romantic comedy.
You're a thinking person. How can you choose this lifestyle?
What is so incredibly great about New York? It's a dying city. You read Death in Venice?
You didn't read Death in Venice till I gave it to you.
Well, you only give me books with the word death in the title.
It's an important issue.
Artie, you are totally incapable of enjoying life. You're like New York. You're an island.
Okay. If that's all that we've been through together means to you, I guess it's better if we just said goodbye, once and for all. You know what's funny? After all the serious talks and passionate moments, that it ends here, in a health food restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. Goodbye, Sally.
Wait. I'm gonna go with you. I love you.
What do you want? It was my first play. You know how you're always trying to get things to come out perfect in art because it's real difficult in life. Interestingly, however, I did run into Annie again. It was on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. She had moved back to New York. She was living in Soho with some guy. And when I met her, she was, of all things, dragging him in to see The Sorrow and the Pity, which I counted as a personal triumph. And Annie and I, we had lunch sometime after that and just kicked around old times.
Just to have my arms around you, still the thrill that it was the day I found you seems like
After that, it got pretty late, and we both had to go, but it was great seeing Annie again. I realized what a terrific person she was, and how much fun it was just knowing her. And I thought of that old joke, you know, this guy goes to a psychiatrist and says, "Doc, my brother's crazy. He thinks he's a chicken." And the doctor says, "Well, why don't you turn him in?" And the guy says, "I would, but I need the eggs." Well, I guess that's pretty much now how I feel about relationships. You know, they're totally irrational and crazy and absurd, but I guess we keep going through it because most of us need the eggs.
You
Now, the audience's reaction to that scene, the end of that movie, when they first saw it in 1976, and I was there at a premiere with a packed audience. When they saw it, they let out a sound that I've rarely heard. It was almost like a purr, like a cat, of satisfaction, like a oh, because what they were watching was the truth of the end of a romantic relationship. Almost everybody's been through one where you met somebody, you're enamored with them, you try to make it work, you do make it work for a while, and then for one reason or another it doesn't last, and you break up. Almost everybody's been through that, and Woody Allen accurately nailed it in a way that made people recognize the truthfulness of that, and how it was kind of sad and kind of wistful and kind of meaningful. And they let out a sound that made reference to that. We have just seen the truth dramatized for us, and we like that. Now compare that reaction, for example, to something like this classic ending of a romantic drama comedy, Casablanca.
Here it is. Thanks. I appreciate it. And welcome back to the fight. This time I know our side will win. Are you ready, Ilsa?
Yes, I'm ready. Firing. God bless you.
Gotta hurry, you'll miss that plane.
And you can imagine when people still watch Casablanca, and when you see that ending, you feel like, oh gosh, it's so wonderful, it's so beautiful. Wouldn't it be great if life were like that? I mean, Humphrey Bogart is so noble because he's going to put the woman he loves on a plane with another man in order to save her because he's so noble. And she's so noble because she's going off with this very righteous but kind of dull guy when she really is in love with Humphrey Bogart. And isn't it so beautiful and heartwarming? And wouldn't it be great if life were like that? And of course it would be great. And of course it isn't like that. Casablanca was written by the Epstein brothers, Philip and Julius Epstein, and Howard Koch. James Bond movies, by the way, are pure votum per drama. They are male melodramas. They are not a bit of that is true. It's a wish fulfillment for boys. Wouldn't it be great if I were handsome and women threw themselves at me and I got to drive fast cars and shoot guns and new martial arts, and wouldn't life be wonderful? Superhero movies, almost by definition, are votum per drama because their heroes have some superpower. So it already suggests it is wish fulfillment. We wish we had some power like that. You could make a case that some of the Batman movies, The Dark Knight in particular, get close to drama, pure drama, that is to say, Verum per drama. But for the most part, superhero movies are all melodramas. Most fantasy movies that involve a fantasy of some sort, tend to be votum per drama, tend to be melodramas, but not always, not necessarily. It's a Wonderful Life, the classic movie, is largely regarded and would be described by most people as a melodrama. But in fact, it's not really, even though, yes, it has an extraordinarily happy ending that brings tears to many people's eyes. It's truthful. It has earned that happy ending because of this particular scene and scenes like it in It's a Wonderful Life.
Merry Christmas! Glad you come. How about some of that good spaghetti? We got everything.
God. Oh, God. Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Show me the way, oh God.
right, George? Want somebody to take you home, huh?
Why you drink so much, my friend? Please go home, Mr. Bailey. This is Christmas Eve.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
This Mr. George Bailey.
The next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. She cried for an hour. It isn't enough she's slave teaching you stupid kids how to read and write. You have to bawl her out, eh?
Get out of here, Mr. Wells!
Now, wait a minute. I want to pay for my drink.
Never mind the money. You get out of here, quick! You hit my best friend. Get out! You all right, George?
Who's that?
He gone. No worry. His name is Welsh. He no come into my place no more.
Oh, wow. That's what I get for praying.
The last time he come in here. You hear that, Nick?
Where's my insurance policy? Here.
No, please, no go this way, Mr. Bailey. No, you no feels good. Sit down and rest. Please, no go away, please.
What do you think you're doing? Now look what you did. My great-grandfather planted this tree. Hey, you! Hey, you! Come back here, you drunken fool! Get this car out of here!
Hey, what's the matter with you? Look where you're going.
So the audience's enjoyment of the Verum drama, that is to say, the drama, the truthful drama, is based on the feeling that you get that something that you know in your heart is true, and it may be something that you haven't even thought about consciously in a long time, if ever. When that truth is presented, you feel like, I'm not alone anymore. Other people feel that way. That truth has been acknowledged, and it feels good. That's why Hamlet or whatever has survived for all these centuries. It feels good to an audience. And that's what the basis is of our love of the Verum drama. Now, votum drama, the appeal of it is obvious. We're seeing things depicted on screen that we wish were true, fantasies and dreams and wonderful imaginary scenarios. But votum drama also is interesting in that it tells us more about our society, the culture in which we live, or the culture in which this film was made, than Verum does. Drama sustains because it's timeless, but votum drama, wish fulfillment drama, tells us a lot about what this culture is like because it tells us what we want. The audience is telling the movie makers what they want, and that tells a sociologist what the audiences of that era wanted. So, for example, if you look at the movies, especially comedies, but all the movies from the 1950s and early 60s, they're just replete with sexuality in some cases, like a movie like Pillow Talk or something, one of the romantic comedies that were supposed to be kind of sweet and family-friendly even, are just oozing with sexuality, repressed sexuality. Why? Because that's all people could think about in the 50s and early 60s, before the sexual revolution really exploded, was sex. And so movies that had almost nothing to do with sex would infuse sex into it. Actresses tended to be much more curvy, almost parodies of femininity, like Marilyn Monroe is the obvious example in that era. And then, interestingly, when you get around to the 1970s and 80s, those kind of actresses who looked like these parodies of femininity started to fade away, and they were replaced by male actors who were parodies of masculinity. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and the like, with their ridiculous bodies, with the pecs and stuff, these muscles that don't grow in nature. You have to go to a gym and deliberately make them, to build these muscles because they don't happen naturally among actual men who work for a living. They were an expression of a parody of masculinity. Why? Well, it tells you that the rise of gay rights made it acceptable now for people, men, to go to the movies and look at men in half-clothed or even unclothed who are parodies of a masculine paragon. In the 1980s and late 80s and early 90s, there was a genre of film that suddenly became enormously popular. They used to call them yuppies and danger movies. It started really with Fatal Attraction in 1987, but there were many, many others. Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Poison Ivy, Unlawful Entry, Single White Female, Breakdown, Misery, Presumed Innocent, Cape Fear. And they were always about a yuppie person or family, often, who seemed to have a perfect life, and then someone was introduced into their world, their perfect little world, usually through a flaw in one of the characters, and that person became the mistress from hell, the nanny from hell, the cop from hell, the roommate from hell, who then utterly disrupted their lives and threatened to ruin it, and then at the end, the yuppie protagonist would destroy the intruder. Why was that? Why did that genre suddenly become so popular? Well, one of the theories is because the audiences at that time were largely baby boomers who had idealistic dreams in their youth that they'd given up and become lawyers and stockbrokers and business people and housewives, and felt guilty about the fact that they hadn't lived the idealistic life that they imagined for themselves, and therefore wanted to go to the movies and be punished for it, but then at the end have their way of life reaffirmed as being okay. And it was a very interesting sociological phenomenon, even if the movies were, hit or miss. In our current era, the last 15, 20 years of superhero movies, tells us a lot about our society because it presages the rise of Donald Trump. The belief that there's someone out there, who can magically, heroically make everything right is why people tend to vote and promote this sort of person who pretends that they can do that sort of thing. The idea of Superman is inherently fascistic, the idea that there's someone who's better than the rest of us who will save us. I would also add one more thing. Do not mix Verum per drama with votum per drama. Do not mix drama with melodrama in one movie. If you do that, you will make the audience almost always very angry. A classic example is the movie Magnificent Ambersons, which would have been a great movie by Orson Welles, movie made after Citizen Kane, and many people think it was better in its original form than Citizen Kane, which is saying a lot. But the movie was a very dark drama about the truth of American life, and it had a very truthful and honest ending, and written and directed by Orson Welles. And it culminates in this sequence here where the protagonist of the movie, who is not a particularly nice guy, is a wealthy, the child of a wealthy family, the Ambersons, in a Midwestern town, who is very privileged and thinks that, that life should continue to allow him to be the wealthy, spoiled brat, and discovers that no, the world is changing around him and he can't stop it from changing, and his life slowly disintegrates around him, and it culminates in this sequence. Watch this.
George Amberson Minifer walked homeward slowly through what seemed to be the strange streets of a strange city. For the town was growing and changing. It was heaving up in the middle incredibly. It was spreading incredibly. And as as it heaved and spread, it befouled itself and darkened its sky. This was the last walk home he was ever to take up National Avenue to Amberson Addition, from the big old house at the foot of Amberson Boulevard. Tomorrow they were to move out. Tomorrow everything would be gone.
Mother, forgive me. God, forgive me.
Something had happened. A thing which, years ago, had been the eagerest hope of many, many good citizens in the town. And now it came at last. George Amberson Minafer had got his comeuppance. He got it 3 times filled and running over. But those who had so longed for it were not there to see it. They never knew it. Those who were still living had forgotten all about it and all about him.
That bleak moment is the climax of the movie, and then there was some more material directed by Orson Welles about the end of this family and the end of the reign of the magnificent Ambersons. And it was incredibly moving and very dark and very truthful. And the studio, RKO, the studio, decided they weren't going to allow this dark movie to be released, and so they reshot the ending without his permission. And the ending, the new ending, after that scene we just saw, shows this young man getting run over by a car and being sent to the hospital, and then they shot a scene where his true love, who had abandoned him before, suddenly unabandons him and walks out of the hospital room arm in arm with his rival, who is no longer his rival. And the both of them were talking about how great everything's going to be for good old George, who's going to get well, and there's a great job waiting for him. The end. Well, you can imagine the audience hated the film, as well they should have. No one ever saw the original version because the footage that Welles shot was destroyed, and only a handful of people saw it and said it was brilliant. And much of the movie still is brilliant, even despite the fact that it was butchered. But tacking on a melodramatic ending to a drama, tacking on a votum ending to a Verum does not work. There was a movie in 1986 that Jonathan Demme directed called Something Wild, and Demme is a very good director, but the film started out as a wacky kind of romantic comedy about a straight-laced banker type guy who meets this, charming, wild, carefree girl who then leads him on this wild, fun adventure. But halfway through the story, her gangster boyfriend shows up and tortures them, and there's a gruesome sequence of a violent beating and a murder, and the tone of the movie went completely dark, as if it started out melodramatic, and we're enjoying it to some degree on that level, and then shifted and became a very different, dark, truthful movie about violence, and the film simply could not sustain it. It was a big flop. The one exception I can find to this rule is The Player, the great film written by Michael Tolkien and directed by Robert Altman. And what they chose to do with the ending is to play with this concept of drama and melodrama. And it's about a movie executive who works with writers, and he has one writer who hates him so much he's starting to stalk him and threatening to kill him. And it ended this way. This is the end of the Player.
Yeah.
Griffin, I have Larry Levy on the line.
Larry, how'd the screening go? How's my new ending?
Fantastic, fantastic work like gangbusters. That's why you get the big bucks, Griff.
Yeah. Stop kissing my ass, Larry. What do you want? Can't this wait?
I don't think it should. This is hot. I got a writer in here who's got a pitch I think you ought to hear. I think it's something we should go for. It's a great idea.
Yeah, who's the writer?
I'll put him on the speaker. Hold on a minute.
Hiya, Griff. Remember me? I'm the asshole who used to be in the postcard business.
You?
Yeah, that's right. The king of suspense himself. You remember me?
I haven't heard from you for a while.
Well, I've been busy. I've been writing a script. I got inspired.
Tell him. Give him the pitch. You'll love this, Griffin. It's great.
All right, it's a Hollywood story, Griff. A real thriller. It's about a shitbag producer, studio exec who murders a writer he thinks is harassing him. Problem is, he kills the wrong writer. Now he's got to deal with blackmail as well as the cops. But here's the switch. Son of a bitch, he gets away with it.
Larry, get off the speaker. I want to talk to him privately.
Sure thing. This is a winner, Griffin. It's a winner.
Gets away with it?
Absolutely. It's a Hollywood ending, Griff. He marries the dead writer's girl, and they live happily ever after.
Can you guarantee that ending?
If the price is right, you got it.
If you can guarantee me that ending, you got a deal.
I guarantee it, Griff.
What do you call this thing, anyway?
The player.
The player. I like that.
What took you so long?
Traffic was a bitch.
So the ending that they were playing with was the bad guy gets away with his crime, which is Verum per drama, right? That's pretty dark, but probably pretty truthful that would likely happen, that a bad guy would get away with his murder. But because the bad guy is our protagonist, he is in fact the hero of the movie, we've been following his journey throughout it, it's oddly votum per drama, which is to say wish fulfillment, which is an odd way of mixing the two forms. It was obviously the height of irony that the bad guy gets away with it, but it's a happy ending. And of course the music and so on, and the way it was shot was selling the idea that it was a happy ending. So they were playing with that form. As a general rule, it is not a good idea to mix the two. You should decide as the author of the material, which one am I doing? Am I trying to investigate the absolute truth of this situation, whatever it is? It might be life or death, or it might be a romantic comedy, or it might be something else. But am I trying to examine this in the most truthful way possible, or am I trying to fulfill the wish fulfillments of an audience which wants to see something that is deliberately untruthful? They are both legitimate ways of approaching stories. I've written many of both of them, and there's nothing wrong with choosing to do a melodrama, as long as you do the melodrama and do it well and don't try and pretend it's something else. Okay, next up is going to be more stuff that I remembered that I forgot particularly about writing scenes. Coming up next.